Welcome back, everybody, to episode 32 of the Wash Up Sports Podcast. We are your Wash Up Sports hosts.
Zach Elliott,
Louis Ortiz,
and I'm Bobby Hanscom. Today is Monday, August 19th, as we're recording, so here's what we'll be talking about on today's episode.
Our NFL Divisions preview rolls on as we get closer to the 2024 NFL season. We've already gone over the AFC West, North, and South. Today, we're wrapping up the AFC with the AFC East and our New England Patriots.
We'll also be talking about recapping a huge fight over the weekend at UFC 305, very anticipated fight that happened in Perth, Australia. We'll also be discussing some random news in the sports world.
And we'll finish the episode with washed up wagers. We'll go over our picks from last episode and make a new 3-pick parlay for this week.
So as you guys know, every episode over the last couple of weeks, we've been going over one division each show. Leading up to the NFL season that starts in a little more than 2 weeks now, I believe.
Yeah.
On September 5th, actually a little more than 3 weeks, I believe. 2 or 3? I think 2.
Look at
September
2.5.
September 4th.
So
yeah.
On each episode, we're going over all 4 teams in whichever division we're talking about. Key players, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, also defenses. And then at the end, we're doing a prediction of who will win each division as well as who will make the playoffs. So as I said, we've done the AFC West, North, and South. Today we'll finish up the AFC by talking about the AFC East. The teams in that division, obviously the New England Patriots, the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, and the Buffalo Bills. Bobby is going to give you some recent history about the AFC East.
All right, so here's last year's standings for the AFC East. The Bills finished in first place with 11-6 record. The Dolphins finished with also an 11-6 record in second. The Jets, which somehow managed to win 7 games last year, finished 7-10, and our beloved Patriots sucked and ended up with the 3rd pick and and we were 4-13.
Yeah.
The Bills and Dolphins made the playoffs last year out of this division. The Buffalo Bills have won the AFC East in last 4 seasons. Before that streak, the division was their last division title was in 1995. Last year, they were the number 2 seed in the AFC and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card round 31-17. They also lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round 27-24. They can't get by them.
No.
The Miami Dolphins came in second place last year and haven't won the AFC East since 2008. They have made the playoffs in the last 2 years. They lost in the wild card round last season against Kansas City Chiefs 26-7. Looks like no team from the AFC East can beat the Chiefs.
Correct.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but it all boiled down to like that last week for the Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I think the Bills needed to win.
The Chiefs in that first round,
Yeah.
and the Bills ended up beating the Dolphins to kind of secure that divisional matchup against the Chiefs.
The Bills won both matchups against the Dolphins last year.
The Dolphins' 11 wins last year were the most since 2008 as well. They have not been to the Super Bowl since 1985. The New York Jets have not won this division since 2002. They have not made the playoffs since 2010, sadly, because they fucking suck.
Yeah.
Their 7 wins last year is tied for the most since 2015, which is so fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the Baltimore/Indianapolis Colts have won more AFC East divisions titles, 6, than the Jets, 4, despite leaving the division to the AFC South in 2002.
That's like that Brown stat you gave us.
The Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the Houston Oilers. Yeah. The Jets last appeared and won the Super Bowl in 1969.
Been a minute.
Giggity.
Been a minute.
The New England Patriots have the most AFC East division titles with 22. They have not won the division since 2019 and last made the playoffs in 2021. They have lost in the wild card round in each of the last 2 playoff trips in 2019 and 2021. From 2001 to 2019, they won all division titles except for two, and last won the Super Bowl in 2018, which was their 6th in franchise history. Their 4 wins last year were the fewest in any season since 1992. And then I think that year we got Drew Bledsoe.
You might be right.
All right, well, let's kick right into it, starting with the Buffalo Bills. As Bobby said recently, they had an 11-6 record last year. Win total right now, over under 10.5. I am hammering that under.
Under, bro.
I'm hammering the under.
Under.
They're the current favorites to win the AFC East at a plus 180 odds, which that's
pretty shocking.
Yeah, I would say it's very shocking to me after losing who they've lost. Yeah. We're obviously going to get into that. But over the past few years, they've had a fast-paced physical offense that scores a ton of points in their defense that can also play really tough football. But they can't get past the Kansas City Chiefs, as we just mentioned. 3 of the last 4 years, they've been eliminated by the Chiefs in the postseason.
That's crazy.
And who does it really kind of start with? Josh Allen. Yeah. Let's start talking about him. Entering his 7th season, last year he threw for over 4,300 passing yards, but his 29 passing touchdowns was his lowest total since 2019. So it's been a 4 or 5 year stretch from that. He also threw 18 interceptions, which was also the second most in the NFL that year. He did have a 66% completion percentage and rushed for a career-high 15 touchdowns. You think Josh Allen would need to increase his usage for this year? You think we need more running touchdowns? I feel like he's got to definitely get on the floor.
He's got to do something because we'll get into the receiving core, but it is sorry. And he's going to have to start doing something and trusting James, and they're going to have to run the ball more with James Cook.
I think when they run a lot in like third downs and stuff, and it's unstoppable. I don't like Josh Allen, and it's so infuriating to watch him pick up first downs when he runs the ball. It's so infuriating as Patriots fans. But that's something he's good at. You see the 15 rushing touchdowns last year as a quarterback. That's really impressive. He's going to need to do more of that this year, and although he might be putting himself in harm's way, they just won't have the passing, this kind of spread offense they've had over the last few seasons. And also he's going to have to cut down on his turnovers because 18 interceptions is way too much to be winning a division, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's get to the receiving core.
Yeah.
Obviously, big loss, losing Stephon Diggs. Would you say a big loss losing Gabe Davis?
The both of them, yes.
I mean, yes. Okay, I guess so. But like fantasy standpoint, Gabe Davis, get the fuck out of there. But I mean, both Diggs and Davis combined for over 150 catches, almost 2,000 plus yards, and 15 touchdowns last year. So a lot of chunk of points and yardage there that you're just letting walk out the door there. Did draft wide receiver Keon Coleman early in the 2nd round. Hopefully he'll kind of step up for him.
He's supposed to be their big.
Bringing in Curtis Samuel, Matt Collins, and brought back Khalil Shakir. Yeah. My apologies. They also still have Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox at tight end. So that wide receiver, the receivers is what's huge for them. You guys obviously on paper doesn't look like a whole lot for that offense. What do you guys think about the Bills receivers here?
Go ahead.
Do I think it's enough weapons? No, but I think they'll somehow make it work to be a decent football team. The tight ends are always that 1-2 combo worked pretty well last year. And I think if you're a Bills fan, you just got to pray that this draft pick that you spent a high 2nd round pick on is your new Stephon Diggs, essentially.
Yeah.
Comes in and sets the tone.
I hate to be that guy, but like, you think he's going to remember his routes if he doesn't know how to sign his contract?
You want is this an autograph or a signature?
What does that even mean?
I understand what he means. I get it. But no, I mean, I think honestly, Keon Coleman will probably end up with 750 yards and like
5 touchdowns.
Yeah, 4 or 5 touchdowns. I think the main guy in this offense, besides Kincaid, is honestly going to be Khalil Shakir because he already has that chemistry with Josh Allen. And if you remember from games last year with no Gabe Davis or if Diggs was out as well, Khalil Shakir was that main target.
Deep ball threat.
Yeah, and he was the guy getting over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns. So he can do it. It's just how consistent can he do it. And then they, like you said too, they brought in Curtis Samuel. Who knows?
Yeah.
He's really hasn't done shit since being in the NFL, so and neither is Matt Collins. The guy doesn't even like to wear shoes.
So
fucking weirdo.
I'll ask this on top of what I just asked about him having enough weapons. With the weapons that Josh Allen has right now, who is their wide receiver 1? Who's their wide receiver 2, 3?
Well, I mean, I think it has to be Coleman at 1, right? He's the.
I think it's going to be Khalil Shakir 1. I think Curtis Samuel 2, and I think yeah, I know, but I think he's still the 1. And I think Coleman is the 3 as of right now. But I think,
on that depth chart, a wide receiver 3 is like your slot. A wide receiver 1 and 2 is like your outside guy.
Yeah, but those are the guys who are going to be on the field the most, and I think those 2 are going to be on the field more than Keon just because he's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, as of right now,
mm-hmm.
But as the season comes on and the season develops, I think he'll end up becoming that guy who is that 1 or 2. But to start, I don't think he's the 1. I think he's the 3.
Definitely need to work his way up, kind of just build himself, get used to the game. Because like everyone says, it's way different than going from college to the NFL. Yeah. But let's go into the backfield now. Obviously, Josh Allen has legs to run. 15 touchdowns rushing. Who else was a runner? James Cook. James Cook was good. Cook, entering his 3rd year, had over 1,500 scrimmage yards, including over 1,100 rushing last year with 6 total touchdowns on almost 5 yards per carry. Is James Cook going to take another step this year? He has to. If the Bills need to win this division, he has to.
I agree.
Not just Josh Allen.
I definitely agree with you. I think James Cook is going to be probably, this ain't fantasy, but top 5, top 10 fantasy this year. In fantasy this year, I think he's going to be. They're going to have to rely on him, and he's going to have to be the one that makes this offense kind of go. And
I'm sorry, but do they have another back?
It's
been
Latavius Murray, but
Singletary in past years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know Fournette was on the team last year.
Good question.
He's nowhere.
I don't know who their other back is because
I can't think of it right now.
Because from what I remember, I don't remember James Cook always being in the backfield.
He wasn't. It was last year. They used a lot of Latavius Murray and Ty Johnson. But I think towards the end of last year, Ty Johnson tore his ACL.
Ty Johnson and Ray Davis.
He's a rookie.
So
out of
Auburn, I believe.
There goes Davis.
Kentucky.
Wow, look at that.
I think if the Bills are going to have any chance, him and Josh Allen are going to have to probably combine for close to 25, 30 touchdowns.
Almost 2,000 yards.
They combined for 20 last year, and I think that without Diggs and Davis, that's 15 touchdowns lost right there, so you need to make up for it on the ground. I think Cook will have over 1,000 again, probably around 10 touchdowns. I think it'll be a breakout season. It's only his 3rd year. He was over 1,100 rushing last year. So.
He just couldn't break that barrier getting into the end zone a lot.
That's that and when they went to goal line sets, it was never James Cook. It was always Latavius Murray because they wanted the bigger, older guy.
He's also a good pass catching threat on the backfield. So
very good pass catching threat.
So we talked about offense. Let's go to their defense. One of the best in the league, especially when you play them at home. True. Last year, they allowed the 4th fewest points per game in football at 18.1. Ranked in the top 10 in the league in fewest yards allowed per game at 307. They especially excelled in the pass game, giving up just 196.6 yards through the air per contest, which was the 7th best figure in football. They posted 54 sacks and had 18 interceptions, and were both 4th most in the NFL. Which were both 4th most in the NFL, my apologies. Their defense consisted of Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver plugging up that defensive line, along with Taylor Rapp and Rasul Douglas in secondary. They did lose some stars, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde this offseason. Their starting linebacker, Matt Milano, suffered a torn bicep in his
Milk check.
Indefinitely.
Milk check.
Sounds like a Judon injury right there. Like you said, this team was great last year. Losing those 3 guys, what does that entail for the Bills' defense coming up this year?
It's going to be a struggle for them.
Detrimental.
Yeah, and Tre'Davious White is honestly, when healthy, probably a top 5 corner in the league, and now he's out in LA with the Rams. That sucks. Poyer's gone. I don't even remember.
He's on the Dolphins.
Is he?
Yep.
Damn, Poyer went to the Dolphins, and that's gonna suck being in the same division. But yeah, I don't think this defense is going to be that
For
great.
me, it's Poyer and Hyde. Those guys were like captaining that defense, calling the plays like ball hawks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Tre'Davious White had been battling injuries for the last several seasons,
years,
but Poyer and Hyde were really kind of like the leaders of that defense. So losing those three in the secondary,
and then Matt Milano,
you're already like, okay, this sucks. And then a couple like last week, Matt Milano is going to be out until like December if they're lucky.
Yeah.
And that's just he was going to be the new kind of captain of that defense. So that they're in all sorts of trouble on defense, in my opinion.
It's been a tough offseason being if you're a Buffalo Bills fan.
That's why we said
your best players on defense, or your top one of your top players on defense, and then your top players on offense.
They lost their best like 4 players on defense and their top 2 receivers. So that's why I said under 10.5, because they were at 11 last year with all those guys.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a little rebuild from what it kind of looks like. But I mean,
I can't believe also Josh Allen is in his 7th year.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Head coach, obviously, Sean McDermott, big 9/11 guy. He's entering his 8th season in charge and has a 73-41 overall record with 6 winning seasons out of 7. So if he wants to keep that, if he wants to hit that over at 10.5, he's going to have to pull something out of his ass. Last year's second-place team in the AFC East now, the Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins, also going 11-6 last year and have posted 4 straight winning seasons, which hasn't been done in Miami Dolphins history since 2000 to 2003. They've lost in the wild card round of the postseason in the last 5 trips because they're all been below 40 degrees, including the last 2 years. They have not won a playoff game since 2000. They've also started last year winning 11 of their first 15 games. They just re-signed QB Tua Tagovailoa to the largest deal in Dolphins history, 4 years, $212 million. That makes him the 4th highest paid QB in the NFL, as we kind of mentioned before, behind $55 million a year from Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Jordan Love. He led the league in passing last season with 4,624 passing yards and was tied for 5th with 29 passing touchdowns, which are both career highs for him.
Feels crazy. Fifth in touchdowns, and it was only 29. It's kind of insane to me.
You know what's crazy, too? He led the league with 4,600 passing yards, and you turn the clock back about a decade ago, it was like the 5, top was like 5,900, and then in the top 5, there's no one below like 5,500 yards. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He also had an efficient 69.3% completion, but threw 14 interceptions and had 13 fumbles lost. My apologies. He had 13 fumbles, but lost 5 of them. That's nuts. Tua, worth this money? I know Zach has something to say about it. I don't know if Bobby agrees with him, but I kind of think like you can't win a playoff game while you're paying him so much money.
I agree with that. I also am going to say $212 million is a lot of money for a guy who's like one slight concussion away from never touching the field ever again. We saw that scary injury where he
forget about
was like frozen and like his fingers were all like bent backwards. Yeah. Like if that O-line just lets one guy through, he's potentially all done for the rest of his career, and the Dolphins are kind of shit out of luck. But put up numbers last year, so we can't really nitpick too much. Led the league in passing, one of the top touchdown pass throwers, and also almost 70% completion rate. That's really.
He started
really
the season extremely hot too.
Yeah.
That back half of the year was not very good for him.
The entire Dolphins started the season pretty hot.
Yeah.
11-4.
The thing I was going to mention is the turnovers on paper look a little high, but I think that's just the style of offense that they play under McDaniel. It's just so fast paced. A lot of it's kind of like an air raid offense, like a lot of balls being thrown. So it's bound to happen. It's kind of like, Missoula ball, take a lot of threes. Some nights you miss a lot of threes, so. And then you want to mention real quick that their win total is only 9.5 and the Bills is 10.5. How the fuck does that make sense?
Yeah. Totally skip that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I'd hammer that over.
Right?
I feel like I'd hammer
They won 11 last year, and I feel like they only got better. Like, what did they lose?
I agree. Yeah,
Same offense,
I wonder
and they
what
added.
their-
We'll get to who they added, but
minus 140 to make the playoffs. I wonder what it is to win the division.
Plus 210, I believe.
yeah, it is plus 210 because the Bills and Jets are plus 180, plus 170 around there. So,
Yeah.
Well, throwing over 4,500 passing yards, you have to have good receivers.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Not just good, but fucking lightning fast.
probably one of the best wide receiver duos in football right now with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Hill was an All-Pro the last 2 seasons. Last year, he was second in the league with 119 receptions and was the first in the league and set a career high with 1,799 receiving yards. He's also tied for first with 13 touchdown catches.
If he didn't miss
What a
the
monster.
2 or 3
Yeah.
games
Yeah,
that he
he would've
missed,
had
dude, he would have had 2,000 yards. Yeah.
He also posted 119 catches in each of his 2 seasons in Miami. This year, his props are over 1,375.5 receiving yards and over under 9.5 touchdowns. I would hammer the touchdowns, bro.
I
hammer
hammer both of
yards.
them.
I hammer the yards for
I'd
sure.
hammer yards first before touchdowns, but yeah, I'm hammering both of those.
So let's say what do you think? He played in 15 games last year.
I think it was 15.
I think so too. That's 8 catches a game. Like, you know how ridiculous that is.
Get that PPR.
Imagine
Yeah.
getting 8 points in fantasy a week
Just for catches.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
And let's not forget Jalen Waddle also. He posted over 70 catches and 1,000 yards in each of his first 3 seasons with 18 touchdowns in that span. Last year, doing so in just 14 games being played. The Waddle, dude. That's one of the best. That's honestly one of the best. The Miami Dolphins hate them, hate the Bills, hate all these teams.
The Dolphins are at least fun to watch.
But they're fun to watch, and I love their celebrations.
They're such a fast team,
Yeah,
dude. It's
freaking
insane.
track.
Yeah.
Literally.
And let's see, adding also OBJ.
Who's on the pup?
PUP, yeah.
And still have Braxton Berrios while bringing in Jonnu Smith at tight end.
Oh, Jonnu Smith.
Hey,
Yeah, I
Mike
mean,
McDaniel will make
Yeah,
something
I'm
out
just
of it.
reading here.
I know. He did have a decent season with Arthur Smith, though, being the number 2 tight end at Atlanta.
I'll give you guys 2 things here now. Is this offense the most dangerous offense in the league? And then 2, if so, or if not, is Tyreek Hill the best offensive player? Is the best wide receiver in the league right now?
Most dangerous offense. One of them. I don't know if I
Doesn't have to be.
I would say definitely
but-
top 3 for
Mhm.
sure. And is Tyreek the best receiver in the league?
Do you want me to reread his stats again?
No,
No.
let him answer.
No. Once again, top 3. I don't know if he's 1, but he's definitely top 3. Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. I think I would
All right,
much rather start a team with
I'm going to
them.
hit you with my answer. Are they the most dangerous offense? They have the potential to be the most dangerous offense. They're
So
still
what's that?
very young, and they have a coach that's only getting more and more experienced and comfortable in the league. That's scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that they're only 2 years in the league under his system and they're putting up crazy numbers.
And
But
Tyreek just got paid.
yes. But Tyreek Hill, is he the best wide receiver in the league? No doubt. Who's better than him? He had led the league in catches, led the league in yards, led the league in touchdowns, and didn't even play 2 or 3 games in the season. Like, how cool. And he's the fastest player in the league. Like, he's unguardable,
He
basically.
really is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in my opinion, he is. There might be better route runners, or there might be bigger receivers, but in terms of production, there's nobody better than what you just read.
Mhm.
Like those stats you just read.
I mean, them being with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as the receivers, that's a crazy duo
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
But then you flip it and look at the backfield as well.
Oh my God.
With Raheem Mostert and
Devon
Devon
Achane.
Achane,
Yeah.
as well as Jeff Wilson Jr.
And they just got a running back in the draft as well, who's also extremely fast. I can't think of his name.
All I remember is on fantasy, I remember Mostert and Achane both had over 40 points in one of those games, and they each combined
They
for
both had like 8.
like
They had
3
like 8
touchdowns
No, it was
each.
it was like 8 touchdowns combined. Yeah, Jalen Wright. He's out of Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last
he's
year-
he's looking fast too.
Yeah.
last year, Mostert led the league with 18 rushing touchdowns, 21 total touchdowns, and had over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career on 4.8 carries. I'm pretty sure
4.8 yards per carry.
yards per carry.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in his first, what is it, his sixth year?
He's been in the league
He's
a
in the league
while.
for,
Probably
like,
closer to 8, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's already, like, his first, 5 years or whatever it is. Last year, he already beat his total, combined from his
so
first,
he's
5
definitely
years.
past the running back prime for sure. I'd say that most running backs top out when they're 30.
Entering 10th year.
10th
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
But you're
say
right about the yards.
they're most likely, when they get to 30 years old,
Yeah.
they normally cut off and fucking die and
He's
go down the hill.
32.
And yeah, exactly. And he's 32, and he just put up his best numbers of his career last year.
Yep.
And I heard you're going to get into 8chan first in a second, but I just want to say I heard an interview with Mike McDaniel, and he said that this offense is going to go this year as Devon 8chan goes.
Wow, that's shocking.
So
I love to hear that.
yeah, I know. So be careful with how he is this year. Even though he's small, he is electric.
He is electric. It was sad to see he played 11 games last year due to a knee injury, but like you said, turned some heads.
Bro, this was
Rushing
crazy
over
to me.
for 800 yards and 8 touchdowns, 11 total on just 109 carries. 7.8 yards per carry, which is fucking insane. Only one fucking fumble, too. He had a 4-touchdown game against the Broncos in a 70-20 win, and I'm pretty sure Mostert had 3 as well.
Yeah.
And Achen had, I think, 50 or
They put up numbers.
Mostert right now is currently at over under 8.5 rushing touchdowns, while Achan is at over under 7.5.
They're both going over.
I like Achan over.
They're both going over.
The thing here is this difference of the Bills' offense. Josh Allen's rushing for 15 touchdowns. Tua doesn't run at all.
Tua doesn't need
No,
to.
he doesn't.
No, well, I'm just saying, but that's
He also
him.
hasn't ran since he hurt his hip at Alabama.
Well, no, I'm not saying he should run. I'm just saying he doesn't. That's
Yeah.
not part of his game anymore. So
Yeah.
that's why they have numbers like this in their backfield. So
I like the overs on both of them, though.
yeah,
I asked you guys, the receiving core for the Dolphins, are they the best in the league? Is this backfield the best 1-2 punch in the league right now?
dude, I mean,
It's hard to look.
I'm trying to think
it's
of
hard to
backfields,
look
but
past because I don't know who else. Yeah, I don't
It
know
sucks
who
'cause
else in
it's
the league
like-
would-
it's like, it's kind of like a wait and see, but you can't really wait and see because Achan's so young and he's only played in 11 games, where it's like you kind of have to wait and see on him. But Raheem Mostert, like we said, is going into year 10, so you can't wait and see on him. So it's kind of tough, but they're both fucking electric. So honestly, yeah.
I mean, it's a different look than most. Like a lot of offenses are top heavy with their superstar running back, decent
Mhm.
pass catching third down guy,
Mhm.
but these are just two
They got
balanced,
all around.
explosive running back ones. So I mean, I think in terms of that, there's not many backfields that are better.
So
Like
you
that,
take
Brandon Jacobs and
Yeah,
who was Ahmad Bradshaw.
it's like the Bills back in the day when they had C.J. Spiller and who the fuck was the other guy? Oh my!
is it the bus?
no,
No.
they had Reggie Bush at one point.
Frank, Davis or something like that. Oh, what the fuck was his name? All right, keep going. I'll get it, but keep going.
I mean, their 1-2 punch in the backfield and their receiving cores. Is this offense good enough to make a postseason push? Because they'll make the playoffs, but can they play in negative or under 40-degree weather? And can they actually win a goddamn game in the postseason?
I don't think they have any excuse this year.
They don't.
to
Yeah,
not
they don't.
at least get to the AFC Championship with that roster.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that offense is fully capable of making at least an AFC championship.
Yeah.
Has to.
Should win.
Like,
They should win the AFC East.
but a big part of that too.
Fred Jackson. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Remember Fred Jackson?
Yeah, he ended up signing with the Patriots and retired a Patriot. I
Oh, did
believe.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lou.
Flipping it over though, let's go to their defense now because The offense is stacked. Let's look at their defense. Brought in veteran defensive lineman Calais Campbell. They have
Calais.
They brought in veteran defensive lineman Calais Campbell. They have edge rusher Jalen Phillips, who had 6.5 sacks in just 8 games last year.
Is he going to be healthy to start the year? Do you know?
I think so. He's on their depth chart as like.
I'm pretty sure he tore his Achilles against the Pats.
He did.
I just didn't know if he was going to be ready. Sorry, Lou.
No, they're good. Also, along with him, Bradley Chubb, who had 11 sacks in 2023. Their secondary is loaded right now. Kendall Fuller, Javon Holland, Jordan Poirier from the Bills, and Jalen Ramsey, who is one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah.
Losing Shaq Barrett, big loss, but he retired in the offseason, but just signed with the signed with the team.
Yeah. He signed with the team and then retired a month after signing.
It was
interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
It's like Michael Gallup.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He signed with the Raiders and then said, "Nah, fuck this shit, I'm out."
Dolphins' defense last year was middle of the pack in most statistics, but they did allow the 7th fewest rushing yards per game at 97.1. We're third with 56 sacks. Can this defense help them with this playoff push? Will it help their offense win games? Because they're scoring the ball, but if the defense ain't happening,
if the defense ain't defensing, it ain't gonna work.
If they can allow around 21 points a game, I think they'll be in mint condition.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
because this offense should at least score 28.
At least
plus points.
24
plus, 25 plus.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah.
Like I said, the pace of their play is built that they could score 30 to 40 any.
Yeah, they put up 70 against the Broncos last year. So
fucking Broncos suck though.
Still can put up that kind of numbers. No one else did.
Coach of the Dolphins, like we said, Mike McDaniel, going into his 3rd year right now and has posted 2 straight winning years in Miami with 2 playoff appearances, but being 0-2 of the playoffs. So this 3rd year, kind of a year where it's all right, the first 2 years you kind of you got to win a game. You got to win a game.
Yeah.
His seat will get a little warm if they don't win a playoff game this year.
I would have to agree on that one. As a Patriots fans, we love playing them. We love playing the New York Jets, even though they had a better record and they can get all these bragging rights. I don't really care. 7-10 last year, have not posted a winning record since 2015. Their win total for 2024 right now is over under 9.5 wins, and they're a plus 180 to win the division, tying them with the Bills. You like over?
Yeah.
You like over?
Yeah.
I have the Jets.
Bro, here's my reasoning, and I've been consistent with this reasoning. They won 7 last year. You don't think is Aaron Rodgers worth 3 wins?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is worth 3 wins on that. So keep going.
Yeah, that.
I don't know that they'll win the division at plus 180. I think it's a toss-up between them and Miami, but I think they'll win 10 games. They brought Aaron Rodgers in to win a Super Bowl, so I think they can win 10 games.
If Rodgers can get past this first or second snap, that was their biggest offseason acquisition last year, as we all know, tore his Achilles after first drive.
Fourth play of the game. Fourth snap.
Jets couldn't really figure it out offensively after that, especially with Zach Wilson behind center.
Yeah.
Trevor Seaman and Tim Boyle all starting multiple games as well. The Jets had the second.
Trevor Simeon. He's called him Seaman.
Let him live. Trevor Seaman.
The Jets couldn't really figure it out offensively after that, especially at QB with Zach Wilson, Trevor Simeon, and Tim Boyle all starting multiple games.
There you go.
The Jets had the 2nd fewest yards per game and 4th fewest points per game last season. They were one of just 3 teams with under 3,000 passing yards.
The Patriots were also one of those.
Absolutely. I mean, who else? Who did we have behind center? Fucking Grandpa Mac Jones.
McCorkle.
Obviously, Aaron Rodgers returning this year. Do you guys think he can lead this team? I think yes, only if he makes it past the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna say
I think this team should definitely be making the playoffs.
Agreed. Like I said, 7 wins last year with Zach Wilson, Trevor Simeon, and Tim Boyle. So I think Aaron Rodgers will get them over the hump and back into the playoffs for the first time in 14 years.
I will say the last time he played, he did not look great in Green Bay. So.
Oh, okay. 2 years ago?
Yeah. but we'll see. I do like.
I think he's comfortable in the system now, having a year to.
It sucks that him and Garrett Wilson have already gotten into it in training camp.
Yeah, but I mean that's healthy sometimes. I know it's bad sometimes, but
if you think about it, dude, relationships, there's always fighting.
Yeah.
You always got to have fighting, dude.
It means they both were really into it and care a lot. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about Garrett Wilson here. Won Offensive Rookie of the Year 2 years ago and somehow had over 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first two seasons.
Miraculous that's a stat.
With Aaron Rodgers not being behind center.
Yeah.
So he's catching these balls from fucking Zach Wilson.
And had 95 catches last year honestly is even more of a miracle.
Yeah. 95 catches, only 3 touchdown receptions.
When one of those touchdowns, it wasn't a reception for him, it was an interception from him.
Oh yeah, he took it away.
Zach Wilson literally threw it to the corner and he went over and picked it off pretty much.
Yeah. Right now his touchdown line is over under 7.5. I like that over.
I'd leave that one just because I just leave that one.
I like that.
I know all these overs are looking delicious, but I'm personally going to leave that one because, like you said, the health of Aaron Rodgers could be in question.
Yeah,
but I mean, Aaron Rodgers. The Jets also added Alan Lazard, former Packers teammate of Rodgers, Tyler Conklin at tight end, and they brought in Mike Williams from the Chargers as well. I don't think he's
going to be ready for the first half of the season.
I think he'll be a big help for Aaron Rodgers if he could stay on the goddamn field. That guy's a pane of glass, dude. Literally a walking bubble wrap, bro.
It's like Anthony Davis. Surprised he didn't get hurt during the
But
Olympics.
I mean, I think for Rodgers is used to not having a lot of weapons, and so he's got a 1 in Garrett Wilson, similar to
2 in Mike Williams.
He's got Mike Williams when he's back, and he's got a decent RB next to him. So I mean, I think
honestly, Tyler Conklin is
solid,
very
and
underrated as a
Jeremy
tight end.
Ruckert is the other tight end out of Ohio State from a couple of years ago. So he's definitely got people to throw the ball to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you can't throw the ball, who do you have behind you? Breece Hall.
Yeah.
So one of the best running backs one of the best young running backs in the league right now. Posted 994 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns last season in only his second year. He also caught 76 passes for 591 yards and 4 touchdowns. How do you guys feel about Breece Hall? I feel like that's a big weapon for Aaron Rodgers to really take advantage.
I love Breece Hall this year.
I'm waiting for a butt now.
No. There is a but. His catches are going to come down a lot this year. I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't really dump it off as much to the running back, and plus, they're not going to have to use him.
A lot of his passes or receptions, I should say, were like Zach Wilson under duress. Oh my God, I have nobody to throw the ball. Check
Breece
down.
Hall.
Yeah,
every
that's
time.
a lot of the reason why that's so high, but that's still an impressive number.
Yeah, and
76 catches.
And I believe didn't he tear his ACL the year before?
Yes.
So
coming
back,
ACL
and
tear.
that's the numbers that you do with that kind of
very
team.
impressive.
It's
that's 1,500 scrimmage yards right there.
Yeah, exactly. So. He's going to be perfectly fine this year. I think he's going to be better than he was last year and probably put up more closer to 2,000 scrimmage yards.
I did see somebody had a ranking with Breece Hall as like the 3rd best running back in the league. I don't know if I'm ready to put him up there.
He can get there.
I'd probably say like lower end of the top 10 right now for me.
Top 8.
With guys like McCaffrey, Henry, the Miami duo, Mixon, in my opinion, is better right now. So I don't have him that high, but he's still a top 10 and a lower top 10.
So the Jets right now, offense with a healthy QB of Aaron Rodgers, looks a little scary for this division, I'd say. But what was scary last year was their defense. They allowed under 20 points per game and led up the 3rd fewest yards per contest at 292, including the 2nd fewest passing yards per game at 168. They were also 7th in sacks with 48 and 8th in interceptions with 17. Mm-hmm. So a lot of good defensive players there. Key defensive players: Quinnen and Quincy Williams, C.J. Mosley, a linebacker, and Sauce Gardner, who won the rookie defensive player of the year back in 2022. Edge rusher Hassan Reddick, who had 11 sacks last year, has requested a trade, but the Jets intended to keep him. Will the Jets have another solid? I feel like with all these guys, they'll have a solid year on defense. So
Well,
What do you guys think?
Robert Saleh is a very defensive-minded coach, and he's brought that scheme over from San Francisco. And for some reason, that goddamn Jets team is just so hard to even gain a yard against. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that interior is amazing.
C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams are pretty solid linebackers that can get sideline to sideline, and Sauce can match up with anybody. He wasn't heard from a lot last year. I think he only had one pick, but
that's because they didn't throw it.
It's a good thing when you're a DB and your name is not brought up. So,
yeah,
unless you're the Cowboys guy that had 5 pick sixes.
Deron Bland.
Yeah. So,
what do you think, Bill?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. This defense is just disgusting, and if Hassan Reddick can, if they can actually sign Hassan Reddick to a long-term deal and. Yeah. If bringing him back, that's going to be a scary-ass defense.
I think it's what Rodgers needs to make a playoff run.
Yeah.
You can't ask for much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so.
Especially from the Jets.
Yeah.
So, to end it with the Jets, their head coach, like Zach mentioned, Robert Saleh, going into his 4th season in charge, has posted 3 straight losing seasons with an overall record of 18-33.
All right.
My favorite part now.
Let's go, baby.
The Patriots, obviously last in the AFC East. It's really hard to rebuild after just such great 2 decades of football.
Yeah.
You know, 4-13 last year and has not made the play. We have not made the playoffs since 2021. 4 wins last year were the lowest since 1992. This is a franchise that is still rebuilding after, obviously, like I mentioned, Tom Brady era, where they won 6 Super Bowls and were kings of the division for the better part of two decades, 20 years. Their win total right now is over under 4.5. Like I said, I will hammer that over.
I am hammering 5 wins for the New England Patriots. They won 4 games last year.
You pointed down, so I thought you were.
Oh no, I meant you always smack the table when you do hammer, so that's what I was doing. I just didn't want to make a loud noise, but I am hammering
down. So
that's
why I said okay.
But I was like, in my head, I go, this guy's been hyping up over 4.5 wins for eons.
That's what I've been doing too.
They won
since the draft.
They won 4 last year with McCorkle Jones at quarterback. And now they have some better options throwing the ball. They have some better options catching the ball. They have fresh blood head coach. We saw DeMeco Ryans go out and have a fucking amazing year in his first year. And I'm not saying Gerard Mayo is that, but fresh blood can always help. Antonio Pierce in Vegas, so that can help. If they don't win more than they did last year, I think that's a huge letdown.
Yeah.
So
and
real quick, they have the same fucking defense. Even though they just got rid of Judon, which we'll touch on real quick. But he didn't. Keon White's good, but Judon didn't fucking play last year.
Yeah.
And Christian Gonzalez didn't either.
First
3 games.
3?
Yeah. Same with Gonzalez, so he'll be back. They'll be fine.
Big story for our team, obviously, ever since we lost Brady, has always been who's going to be behind center. Everyone was so hard on Mac Jones. Yeah. I wasn't really. Thank God. Get him the fuck out of there. Bobby had a field day when he had such a great preseason game with the Jaguars. Fuck Mac Jones, truly. Getting Drake May, number 3 from UNC. Also bringing back Jacoby Brissett, who's entering his 9th year right now. Having that veteran kind of experience is always good, especially with Drake May coming in. Also have Bailey Zappi, along with another draft, Joe Milton III, who a lot of people really enjoy. But from what I've heard, this is just the honeymoon phase of Joe Milton. I think you said that like last week or something. You were talking about.
Yeah, because I said I loved him, but I think we need to cool it a little bit because
it's just one game.
Yeah,
and
it's the preseason against their third string.
Yeah, it was just one scramble. But
honestly, though, I think they need to let Zappi go and let the 3 quarterbacks be Drake May, Jacoby Brissett, and Joe Milton.
Yeah, just something new.
Yeah,
I'll let you guys discuss this. But who do you guys think will be Who do you guys think deserves to be behind center?
I think it's going to start with. Sorry, go ahead.
I just know that there was a lot of reports saying that Drake May was kind of getting reps in with the first team, and he's actually been doing very well compared over Brissett in the past week or so. So I don't know. I kind of want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think?
in my opinion, I think they need to wait until probably. I want to say the Pats have a late ass bye this year. I want to say they have a bye
Week 14.
14, yeah.
Week 14.
I was going to say 14, 15. But I think that after week 6, 5 or 6, I forget because I was looking at their schedule, and these are some teams that I do not want. Whoa! What did I just?
Well, while Bobby's looking
sorry,
at it,
I
Zach,
just got.
What would you say? We don't usually allow phones here. This is usually why, because Bobby likes to text his girlfriend.
No, it wasn't that. But anyways, my thing is after I'd say week 5 or week 6 after one of those games. So because you start off with the Bengals, it's a decent defense. Seahawks, which is a decent defense. Then you got the Jets, great defense. 49ers, great defense. Dolphins, we just said, their defense is loaded again. The Texans, their defense is pretty good. But that's the game where I'd be like, maybe start Drake May there or start Drake May in London against the Jags.
What do you think, Zach?
Bro, the game has changed. Enough of this fucking hold your hand, take the fucking, hop in the fucking stroller, we'll wheel you along.
Throw him to the
fucking
wolves.
let the kid play. You drafted him number 3 and you're going to fucking put him on the bench for half the season? CJ Stroud last year hopped right into the fire. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Texans are in the playoffs. Caleb Williams jumping right into that team. He's going to be fucking playing. Who else is right? Jaden Daniels. Thank you very much. Just let the fucking kid play.
Today, actually, he was named
the starter.
Yeah. Have fucking Jacoby Brissett there, in case, he throws a couple picks. All right, get him out. I don't want to ruin his confidence. But, he's never going to learn on the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my take.
I'd agree. I like the idea or the system of just you draft him so high, don't even play him the first preseason game, which was absurd. You want to save him, but throw that motherfucker into the wolves and see what he does.
Especially because this offense was the worst in the league last season in terms of scoring. They didn't even score 2 touchdowns a game. 14 points, that's pretty pathetic, and they had the 3rd fewest yards per game. This guy's got a gun on him for an arm, and he can run the ball. Give us some excitement for the offense. I don't need to see Jacoby Brissett in there, fucking 3 and out, game manager. Nothing wrong with Jacoby Brissett. He's a fine veteran quarterback in case something goes wrong. But that
should be the case.
That's
in case something goes wrong.
That's your offensive MVP right there that you need on the field for the New England Patriots.
I would have to agree where it's throw Drake May in there until something goes wrong. Don't throw Jacoby Brissett in there and then put Drake May when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because this guy's your future. Yeah. Just throw him out.
The Packers did it the best, and they have always done it the best with Jordan Love, sat 4 years.
I'm not trying to see a number 3 overall pick sit for that long. Bro.
I know. No, I understand, but I'm just saying,
think about it. Tom Brady was the fucking 199th pick. Let him sit, and then put him in when something goes wrong. But we're talking about the 3rd.
Not everybody can be Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're talking about the 3rd.
Number 3,
pick.
exactly.
Yeah, you have to throw him out. Put him out there.
I see what you mean.
I'm just saying because Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers were first rounders as well, so.
That's different franchise,
Yeah.
Different systems.
They've also had 4 quarterbacks in about 50 years.
It's a different game now,
Drake May right now plus 2,500 to win Rookie of the Year. I bet you fucking Caleb Williams is a minus.
I'm not going to take Drake May for Rookie of the Year.
No, I wouldn't either.
But big. They brought back Ramondre Stevenson on a 4-year, $36 million extension. Only 619 rushing yards on 156 carries.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, and just 4 rushing touchdowns after rushing for over 1,000 yards the season before. Mm-hmm. Very big step down, but we also added Antonio Gibson from the Commanders to be our RB2. You think Stevenson's good enough to be RB1, or do you think they kind of have to share the workload between Stevenson and Gibson?
No, Stevenson will be the RB1, but if he has a shit year, I think you just wasted $36 million. Last year, he wasn't running with the same purpose he ran with in his first year.
He also was hurt a lot last year, though.
Well, that's the thing, too, but he was kind of similar to how Isaiah Pacheco runs the ball in his first year. He was running through guys, not afraid. Yeah. He was getting the ball and fucking hitting the hole. Last year, he just kind of looked sluggish. You know what I mean? And that was not a good thing to pair up with Ezekiel Elliott, who were kind of similar shape and style. So I think not very exciting, but he still has potential, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, Antonio Gibson is a great pass catching back in the backfield, so it'll be nice to have him in there on third down, or maybe that's the thing is Ramondre doesn't need to be out there for third down, and you can have somebody else and save his legs for more.
Yeah, first and second. Yeah.
Let's talk about the receiving core. I'm pretty excited for this Pats receiving core. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like they were in the mix to do something exciting this offseason. Didn't really work out. Not getting Calvin Ridley. Who else? Ayuk. Dropping down to
anybody.
Yeah, literally no one. But I mean, we re-signed Kendrick Bourne off an ACL tear on 3-year, $20 million deal. Also added KJ Osborne from the Vikings and bring back Demario Pop Douglas, who had 49 catches and over 500 yards in his rookie season. Also drafting Jalen Polk from Washington and Javon Baker from UCF. I feel like those are big additions, big rookie additions from what I've seen. Jalen Polk and Baker have been
very good,
killing it in this training camp.
When I think it was Baker that dropped
the deep one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That deep ball from May, dude, so sexy.
Yeah.
They also re-signed tight end Hunter Henry, who has caught 17 touchdowns in 3 seasons with the New England Patriots, including 6 last year on a 3-year, $27 million extension.
I think he had a 2-touchdown game in like the first week 1 or week 2 last year.
I feel like that might have been the only Patriot with a 2-touchdown game last year, honestly.
Also, don't forget, out of here now is Juju.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
I'm glad that we wasted that fucking money.
Yeah. Definitely an improvement from last year with our receiving core. Do you guys think Patriots should make a move for another weapon? Or kind of let them ride?
I've said this before. This is just a wide receiver room as of right now with a bunch of wide receiver 3s.
Yeah.
And maybe a 2. There's no wide receiver 1. Obviously, we'll see from Polk and Baker what they can do this upcoming year, but there's no wide receiver 1. I think that we need that wide receiver 1 guy, and
that would have been Ayuk or Ridley, man.
Yeah, and that just sucks that we didn't get either of them. So
it does suck.
And it's crazy because we have the money.
We do.
They offered Ayuk over $30 million, and he said no because he wants to win.
I think it's still an exciting young receiver core, and especially will go well with Drake May. We're stepping in the right direction, and I'm excited about Polk, especially just because of watching him at Washington all last year. So
definitely excited to see because now we're actually going to be passing the ball, and I hope we want to score more points and not average literally 0.1 point less than 2 touchdowns.
And I'd also like to see them go for it a little bit more on 4th down this year because they were under Belichick, 4th and an inch they punt.
Yeah.
So it's just
that's Belichick.
Have a sack. Let's go for it. Keep the offense on the field.
Pop Douglas has looked amazing this
I love him.
offseason.
He's very good.
No one can stay with him. He's just getting open so much this offseason, and it's been amazing. So, like I said, we'll see. We got a lot of young guys too.
Very exciting receiving core. Let's go over their defense now. Obviously, we had a poor record. There's a lot of
negatives.
Lot of negatives there.
But this is not one of them.
But our defense has always been pretty solid. Ranked in the top 10 in fewest points allowed per game, 9th with 18.9, and fewest yards allowed per game at 7th with 301.6.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that the Pats were 4-11. With only averaging
4 and 13.
4 and 13, my apologies. And they only allowed the 9th fewest points.
Disgusting.
Under 20 points. That's crazy.
Doesn't even make sense.
Yards.
It really doesn't. They have the 4th best rushing defense in the NFL, allowing 93.2 rushing yards per game.
Mm-hmm.
However, they have the 6th fewest sacks with just 36, and were among the league's bottom 3rd in interceptions with just 10. They did all that without obviously Matt Judon, who tore his bicep last year, and also traded to the Atlanta Falcons, and they also getting back star cornerback Christian Gonzalez, Colombia, who played only 4 games, who had solid outings, including against Tyreek Hill
Shut him
before
down.
missing the year with a shoulder
It
injury.
was like the only game Tyreek had like under 75 yards. And he
Yeah.
had like 43 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Last year, the Patriots were the first team to lose 3 straight games despite allowing 10 or fewer points since the Chicago Cardinals, who lost an NFL record 4 straight such games in 1939.
How do you lose 3 in a row when you give up 10 or less?
Did they lose to the Jets?
Because you punt on 4th and
It was like-
inches.
That was the
No,
Giants.
that was the game that we won. I was at your house.
Oh, really?
It was a punt return from Marcus
Oh, yeah,
Jones.
that was sick. But that's just disgraceful.
Yeah.
Didn't we lose to the Jets 9-7 or something like that?
I feel like we
9-6?
lost the game like 3-0 or something.
Yeah, it was something 6-3, I think
Yeah.
it might have been.
But
That's terrible.
they got absolute studs on their defense. It's just shameful what their offense was
Yeah.
last year.
I mean, this year they have Devon
Gotcha.
They have Devon Godshaw, Keon White on the defensive line with Christian Barmore questionable with blood clots.
Dude,
Yeah.
Keon White's going to be so fucking good.
Yeah, he's just.
I was so excited about him last year, and now this year,
Oh,
he's actually going to be
We
able to
lost
play
6-0 to the Chargers last year.
I do remember
Oh, I
that.
remember that.
10-6 to the Colts. 10-7 to the Giants.
I was on my way to work and I was driving from Rhode Island, and I remember I passed the Chargers bus.
Yeah.
And I go, we're winning this game. And it was fucking 6-0.
I think they had didn't they have like a return touchdown that was called back, I think, or something?
Oh, maybe. Well, they also have a linebacker group of Josh Uche, Jelani Tavai, and Jawan Bentley,
Yeah.
with a secondary consisting of Gonzalez, Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers, along with Marcus and Jonathan Jones.
Who I think are both currently hurt right now.
So right now, on paper,
Why are you the injury guy? I think they're hurt right now. This guy's a negative.
I'm
You
just
said
saying,
I'm the
negative
negative.
Nancy.
Yeah, fuck you, bro.
just saying.
This is a fucking stud.
It is a
defense
stud
right here.
defense.
Very balanced.
God forbid, dude. The Jets are going to win the division, though, under him. Even though Aaron Rodgers
Isn't a
in the
top 10 quarterback. Yeah, that's another discussion for another day.
But
They
on
got some
paper right
ballers.
now, they have so much studs on defense. So much. Do you think this is one of the best defense in the league?
I mean, it's a top
Can
10.
be.
It's top 10 defense.
Yeah, I would say it's a top 10 defense.
I'd
It's
say
just-
even with Judon leaving, I still think it's a top 10
Yeah.
defense because he didn't do shit last year.
I wouldn't have wanted to pay Judon either. He's 32 years old. He
Yeah.
missed an entire year, and I mean, I get it. He was a sack machine, but they got other players that can fill the void. And
Love you, Red Sleeves.
yeah, I love them.
I love the Red
No
Sleeves.
disrespect, but Christian Gonzalez is going to be exciting to watch this year. So
I mean, this is going to be the first time someone's ever said this, but the Patriots are now coached by Gerard Mayo, entering his first season after taking over from Bill Belichick, who has parted ways with the team in the offseason after serving head coach since 2000, which is nuts. Good for them. All right. Well, we touched upon every single team in the AFC East, all their receiving cores, their backfields, their
Quarterbacks.
defense, quarterbacks, their coaching, their kind of their system, style of plays. Let's go into now our predictions for from each of us on AFC East. Anyone making the playoffs? Who's 1 through 4? You want to start, Zach?
I'll go.
Bobby wants
Bobby wants to start.
I'll go. I'll give mine out. I have the Jets winning this division.
we knew that.
As I've been saying the whole time. Dolphins 2, Bills 3, and the Patriots are in last place again.
You ready for this? You want to go or you want me to go?
Patriots first.
I want to hear yours last then. After you said that, so for me, I have the Dolphins winning the division.
Yeah.
I have the Jets coming in second.
Yeah.
Fuck the Bills
He's going to do exactly.
because I have the Bills in third.
Oh.
But I have for some reason, just looking at these teams, if the Pats could have a good year. But I have the Bills third, Pats last. But I would love to see the Pats get in that third place spot.
Agreed for me. Miami is going to win the division. They're going to win more than, 9.5 games it was?
Yeah.
Uh,
I thought it was 7.5.
No,
So I
no,
was
no.
saying that.
Was it?
I'm going to have the Jets coming in second, and they're going to make the playoffs. I'm going to have the New England Patriots coming in third. I think they're going to win 7 games this year.
Like that.
And I have the Bills coming in last place. I think this is going to be a terrible year for the Bills. I think Josh Allen's going to get a season-ending injury because every quarterback goes through it at least once in their career. He hasn't yet, and there's not enough. He's going to up his times running the ball. He's going to take a knock, and that's my prediction.
Wow.
So, that's my
Clip
prediction.
it.
I like
Clip
that. I like that. I guess that's the way the Pats make it in that. So wiggle their way into that third
Clip
place.
it.
Weasel. All right, so now that we've done the previews for all 4 AFC divisions, we're going to move over to the NFC starting next week. And then I'm going to put the camera on you guys now so I can get a better close-up shot. I'm going to give you guys this is a little fun blind rankings that I want to get for social media. So now that we've gone over both,
Bobby asked for it, but then I get it fucking.
Now that
this
we've
guy's
gone-
been preparing for the past 2 weeks.
I don't know what
Listen.
he's talking. What was
Listen,
going to be
no,
talking
you
about?
guys-
Shut the
have no
fuck
idea.
up! You just said you were
listen,
just asking for this.
The blind
Escúchame. Escúchame.
I'm fucked. I hate
So we've gone over all the teams in the AFC. Now we're going to do some blind rankings. I'm going to give you guys 5 players from a certain position. So 5 quarterbacks, 5 wide receivers, or 5 running backs, or 5 AFC teams. One at a time. You guys are not going to know what comes next. I'm just going to give you one at a time. You have to rank them.
Oh,
Yeah, this is what
I
I'm
see.
saying.
Okay.
I've been asking for us to do blind rankings.
I see now.
So 1 obviously the best, 5 being the worst. All right. So Bobby, you want to go first since you've been chomping at the bit over here?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So let's do. You want quarterbacks? You want teams?
I don't care.
All
Surprise
right.
me.
Let's go. AFC quarterbacks for Bobby.
Okay.
Your first one.
Of course.
Your
Most
first one.
controversial.
I'm going
Don't
to
say
give
Aaron
you
Rodgers.
Joe Burrow.
He's gonna say one. He's gonna say one.
No.
As the best quarterback in the AFC.
Make him quick.
No, I'll give him 2.
Joe Burrow at 2. Aaron Rodgers.
4.
4. That was a quick answer.
Wow.
We're gonna
We're
go
persuading him a little bit here.
C.J. Stroud.
3.
So C.J. Stroud is better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Wow. Tua.
5.
Wow.
Who's his number 1?
Oh God.
Who's his number 1?
Who's my 2 and who's
Who's his
my 1?
number 1? No, your 2 is. I thought your 2
my 2
was
is Burrow.
Yeah, your 2 is
Who's my
Burrow.
1?
Justin
This is-
Herbert.
I don't hate it.
So what's his 5?
Go with the 1 through 5.
So Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow,
C.J.
Stroud, Aaron Rodgers, Tua. I don't hate it.
I fucking hate that shit.
The blind
But
ranking.
the blind
It's
ranking is
ranking,
what
but
it is.
I really don't hate that.
Lewis, I'm gonna give you an easier one.
Thank
You're gonna have AFC teams. Okay.
I thought it was like position at
Cool,
least, dude. Come on.
Okay. First team. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
5.
Wow.
I would have probably put that at
5.
about 4 or 5. Yeah.
5.
Your second team. The Tennessee Titans.
Titans. Oof. I don't know who else you're gonna tell me, so I'm just gonna keep it safe. I'm gonna go 4 there. That's gonna be my 5-4.
The Baltimore Ravens.
1.
The Houston Texans.
They're a solid number 3, but I want to put him at 2. But I'm gonna keep him at 3. Who's my second?
Miami Dolphins.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So you
So
got
Ravens, Dolphins, Texans, Titans, Steelers.
I
like that. I don't
like
mind
that.
that. I don't mind that one.
All right, Bobby. Receivers.
All right. Here we go.
And list here.
First
receiver.
Baker.
Calvin Ridley.
That's
I'm going to start right in the middle with 3.
I like the
Okay.
Yeah.
3 there.
Your next one is Rashee Rice.
4. I'm going to say Rashee Rice 4.
Garrett Wilson.
2.
That was a quick answer.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman.
5.
Wow. The last one was Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I like that.
As
So
your one?
Devontae,
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson,
Calvin Ridley.
Rashee Rice, and
Michael
Pittman.
All right. Lewis,
Another one.
to close it out, you got running backs.
RBs, baby.
I don't get tight ends.
No, I didn't do that one.
First one, Hunter Henry.
5. fine.
Lewis, you're out of focus here.
I
All right,
guess.
Lewis, running backs.
I don't know what that means.
Congratulations.
She was like, "I'm sorry, but you're a cookie cutter."
I would have been like,
I don't know
Your
what
first
that means.
running back,
Sorry,
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard.
Boney.
Tony. 4.
that's what I was going to say.
Your next running back, Joe Mixon.
3.
Yep, I like that.
Your next running back, Najee Harris.
5.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Your next running back, Zach Moss.
Fuck 2. Damn.
And your last running back is Nick Chubb.
Not 1. I mean, before the injury,
Yeah,
definitely 1.
Nick Chubb.
I have Nick Chubb, Zach Moss, fucking who's? It was their first.
I know
name.
Najee was 5.
Najee was 5.
No,
Tony Pollard.
Pollard was 4.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
And 3 was
Joe Mixon.
Oh, Joe Mixon. So
I would have put Joe Mixon higher personally.
I probably would have done.
I didn't know who else you were gonna say, dude. Like we got fucking Ashane in there. I thought he was gonna say him.
Mostert,
Yeah.
Brees Hall.
Dude, that's Zach Moss.
Hey, we gotta throw a
Not even Jonathan Taylor.
Not even Chase Brown,
Who?
the real number 1 on the Bengals.
Not even Ramondre Stevenson, dude. No love.
Yeah, I know this is random.
Wait, Zach.
And this means
Can I do one for you?
No.
I know this means absolutely nothing because we're not talking about the NFC right now, but Josh Jacobs doesn't have a receiving touchdown in his career.
Wow, that's
And
crazy.
it's like 1,300
You should have saved that
receiving
for the next
receptions.
pod.
We can cut that out.
Yeah, just
But-
cut it out. Just remember that.
But yeah, it's like,
Damn.
yeah,
All
it's
right.
insane.
Let's move it on from the gridiron and take it into the octagon. A huge fight happened over the weekend at UFC 305 in Perth, Australia. It was Saturday night here. It was Sunday afternoon there. Around noon, 1 o'clock is when the fight was. Izzy Adesanya made his return to the octagon after almost a year since he lost his last fight. That was the middleweight title against Sean Strickland at UFC 293. However, Dricus du Plessis submitted Adesanya in the 4th round after he knocked him to the ground with a kind of flurry of punches and then put him in like a chokehold from behind. Izzy tapped, which kind of was surprising to me. Du Plessis defended the middleweight title at 185 pounds, improved to 22-2 in his career. Adesanya falls to 24-2. Adesanya has not won since April of 2023.
Du Plessis hasn't lost in 6 years.
Yeah, since 2018, and he's also 8-0 undefeated in UFC. So he has not lost a fight since getting the call from Dana White. So Adesanya did have an apparent height and reach advantage. He was
4. I think it was
he was 6'4", and Du Plessis was 6 feet even. I don't have the reaches, but
I think the reach is he was 4 inches.
yeah, early on
4
Du Plessis
inches
was kind of
longer.
throwing punches, and he just like couldn't get close because Izzy was just like so long and like slender. Pause.
Lanky.
But Du Plessis did show a lot of power, and he took him down to the ground several times. There was, as we know, a lot of beef ahead of this fight with Adesanya, who was born in Nigeria but moved to New Zealand. Du Plessis, born in South Africa. They both, in the past, had claimed to be kind of the king of African fighting. After the fight, they did show a lot of respect towards one another. They were talking, they were hugging. Adesanya didn't really want any of it at the beginning and during the fight, but after he then acknowledged Du Plessis, even like held his arm up. So that was good to see from two top fighters. I actually, that was my first time really watching Du Plessis from start to finish of a fight. He's a fucking unit. Like
is.
he's
He is a unit.
I've watched a couple of his fights before, and
huge.
he's nasty.
At the end of the fight, Adesanya did say he is gonna. We will see him again, I guess. Du Plessis said, when asked who he wants next, he said, "I don't care as long as I'm defending and keeping the belt." So, Lewis, I know you watched the whole event. What did you think?
I mean, overall, great fight. The entire event too. It's really hard to like look over like the prelims and like the other fights in the main card. Obviously, this was like the biggest thing with Izzy coming out a year after. Do I think Izzy was fully 100% prepared for this fight? Absolutely not. Like the way I think we've seen Izzy before, he looked a little bit lackadaisical, a little like I feel like unfit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like both fighters looked unfit. Like just in that second round, we were talking about this before. They were kind of huffing and puffing, and every time I would see Duplessis throw a punch, and like it's almost as if his entire body's like leaning forward, like he's so gassed.
If that was Izzy in shape in his prime,
Izzy would have knocked him out in the third round.
He would have like slumped his ass if he came forward through one of those. But as you said, Izzy just didn't look like himself. I know it's been a year, but
and like you said to us earlier, he's 35.
Is
like,
this
he's
like I think this
there.
is towards the end. You know what I mean?
It's just sad to say.
It is sad to say. But any more thoughts from you guys?
I mean, overall, great fight. Yeah. I would be surprised because you don't really see that many people take a year off, and then their first fight back.
It's a title fight.
It's a title fight, exactly. Izzy,
but that's the
obviously,
reputation.
He's one of the greatest middleights in UFC history right now. So obviously, he deserved to really kind of his first fight back, kind of go for that belt. Yeah. I will be excited to see who he's going to face next because I don't think it's going to be a title fight. It's just going to be probably just a regular fight. I'll also be excited to see Duplessis and see who he's going to fight too. Yeah. Is it going to be Strickland again? Is it going to be Alex Pereira? Maybe.
I think.
I don't know if Pereira's fighting anymore.
No, Pereira. So I was actually just going to get to that, but it was an exciting, definitely worth a watch, that fight for sure. And it's good to see kind of somebody new kind of taking over his weight class in Duplessis. He's also kind of a good and like humble sport about it too, after like the way he conducts himself. So the next big UFC event, UFC 306, coming up in a couple weeks in early mid-September. It's going to be held at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Sugar Sean O'Malley defending the bantamweight title. I know Bobby's a big Sugar Sean guy. I'm going to be defending that against Merab Dvalishvili. And that will also feature, that card will also feature a women's flyweight championship trilogy fight between current champion Alexa Grasso and former champion Valentina Shevchenko. While we're at UFC, just a couple quick more things. A guy who will not be taking a year off is Alex Pereira. He will be making, listen to this, his third defense of his light heavyweight title this calendar year in October. He's going to be fighting Khalil Roundtree Jr. at UFC 307 in Salt Lake City on October 5th.
Wow, I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just came out a couple days ago.
It's funny because I was literally looking into this and it literally says...
Dude slumped whoever the hell he fought last in like a minute, and so he's fresh. He's going to fight again. It's the third time defending his title this year. And then to wrap it up, UFC...
And there's a great women's title fight, too.
What's that?
Juliana
Pena. Yeah, I saw that.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, so...
Pena's nasty.
And then Dana White did mention to Bobby's pleasure that Conor McGregor will not be fighting this calendar year. He said McGregor wants to fight, but he just won't. They can't fit him in the schedule. And McGregor posted he still wants to fight in December, but he has not fought since 2021 when he broke his leg. So
it's over for him. He needs to call it.
You think so?
Yeah.
I love Conor.
I used to like Conor, and then now I'm like, all right, I've seen enough of him. He needs to be done.
I wrote some random news things, so I'm just going to read a couple things, and then we can do washed up wagers.
Sure.
But as we know, Matthew Judon traded to the Falcons for a third-round pick to start in NFL, missed all of the season last year after having 15.5 sacks in 2022. Justin Simmons also joining the Falcons, 1 year, $8 million deal. Him and Jesse Bates III are going to be running the secondary, one of the best safety combos in the league. Simmons is 30 now and has played his entire career with Denver, who released him in March because they didn't want to pay him. And he had 9 interceptions over the last 2 seasons and 30 since entering the league in 2016, which is the most out of any player in that span.
They just paid him, dude. Yeah. Have him in Sertan. Like, they're so dumb.
Some retirement news. Former Super Bowl winning quarterback Nick Foles is retiring at age 35. He's retiring actually at a Monday Night Football game of the Eagles in September. He played for 6 teams in 11 seasons, and he won Super Bowl MVP in that Super Bowl 52 win against the Patriots, unfortunately. One of two players in Super Bowl history with a passing and receiving touchdown in the same game, even though it was a legal formation. Also announcing their retirement, and Lewis, I think, told me this, Tavon Austin, legendary wide receiver, kick returner. He was 30,
the best mixtape, best wide receiver mixtape of all time.
Best wide receiver highlight tape, the one of West Virginia.
If you have, like, what is it, 15-minute video?
No, I don't think it's that long. It's only a few minutes, but it's insane.
It's like a 10-minute video.
Yeah. So he was drafted 8 overall by the St. Louis Rams in 2013 and spent 9 years in the NFL, and he had 29 total TDs in his career, and then came out of West Virginia, obviously. We're going to get you the length of that highlight tape in a minute.
9 minutes.
Oh, 9 minutes.
Okay.
I thought it was only like 5. Some news for the Bengals. Going to be wearing orange pants this year for the first time in their franchise history. I love the all-orange look. It's fucking sick.
Aren't they wearing their white helmets too?
Or they are. They do have the white.
No, they still have the white, but it'll be like all white and all orange.
I thought it was something about. It might have been a different team. I read something about. We can cut this if I was wrong, but I read something about how someone was wearing all white helmets for the first time in their career.
Minnesota Vikings.
Was it? Oh, it was the Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tennessee Titans have signed Quandre Diggs. I don't know if you saw that 1 year, $5 million deal. 31-year-old. He's going to be partnering up with Jamal Adams, who they used to be teammates in Seattle. And Tariq Cohen, another retirement. Tariq Cohen informed the New York Jets. I guess he was signed by them this offseason.
Yeah,
that he's going to retire.
After not playing in 2 years, signed with the Jets and then retired.
He hasn't played since 2020 due to an Achilles and a knee injury. But the Jets signed him and they liked him on like returns and stuff. But he said he's hanging it up. He was an All-Pro kick returner with the Bears in 2018.
I don't really feel like it.
Let's see. Buccaneers have made Tristan Wirfs the highest paid offensive tackle in NFL history, offensive lineman in NFL history. 5 years, $140 million, $88 million guaranteed. You mentioned Tyreek earlier getting paid $90 million over 3 years, $65 million guaranteed. DJ Moore, largest deal in Bears history, 4 years, $110 million with 82 guaranteed. And then the NFL, as you guys have probably seen in the preseason, they're testing their Sony Hawkeye technology to replace the chains. So we'll see how that goes. So the refs will get a buzz or a notice in their ear if they spot it and it's past the first down, so they don't have to bring the chains anymore.
They're also testing out. I don't know if you saw their security cameras,
facial recognition.
The facial recognition.
Yeah.
I will have you know, I believe junior year of college. I'm not going to say his name, but my professor, he was the son for the head of security for the Patriots at the time. Yeah. We got a whole tour of Gillette during that time and stuff. So head of security, he was mostly on Tom Brady that entire time. Wow. They actually showed us that facial recognition that Gillette already had it, which was about 5-6 years ago now. This happened. Now everyone's getting it. Wow. So it's kind of cool to see that. I saw that 6 years ago, but now the entire league is implementing it.
Yeah. So. You'll appreciate this, Bobby. The Washington Commanders have signed wide receiver Martavis Bryant.
Yeah, I did see that.
He's 32, but hasn't played in the league in 6 years. He had a drug suspension in 2018. He did catch 126 passes and 17 touchdowns in 3 years with the Steelers, and has spent the last couple of years in the Indoor Football League, the Fan-Controlled Football League, and the XFL, and was on the Cowboys practice squad last year. Something we haven't talked about yet, but we'll get to next week when we talk about NFC. Minnesota Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy is out for the year with a torn meniscus. He played pretty much all of their first preseason game and somehow got dinged up. He had a really good game, 188 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Sam Darnold is now expected to be the team starter. Open the door up
for Sam Darnold, dude. He made it to a Super Bowl last year.
Hasn't thrown for 20 touchdowns in his career.
Want to read you guys this for the Vikings. This offseason, the Vikings have had the following occur. Their rookie draft pick corner died. Mm-hmm. Starting wide receiver DUI. Mm-hmm. Starting cornerback tore his ACL on the first day of practice. Yep. Another starting corner was hurt the second day of practice. Yep. And now McCarthy is torn meniscus. And Addison also just suffered a left ankle injury. So
that's considered minor.
Yeah, it's not serious.
He got carted off, but
still,
it was minor.
Not that it matters. Chase Claypool is on IR with the Bills, expected to miss the year. Not big news. We know about the Hassan Reddick trade. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews got in a car accident last week.
I did.
On his way to practice. It wasn't. He didn't even.
He literally just walked out. He was fine.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a fender bender, but he walked out of it fine. I'm pretty sure I heard his car flipped.
Yes. And then Jim Harbaugh. You guys know Colin Kaepernick has been trying to work his way back into the league for some time.
I said that.
Jim Harbaugh offered him a job reportedly in January, but Kaepernick never got back, and he finally said the other day, I'm not going to take the job because he wants to find a way on a roster.
Yeah.
But Jim Harbaugh said he's not.
Give it a goddamn break.
He is 36 years old.
For an answer.
Yeah. He's 36 years old. So, and then the Cowboys the other day just got valuated at $10 billion, which is the first sports team in ever to be over $10 billion. So, even though they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1996.
They haven't won a playoff game since 1996.
America's team.
Yeah.
Are you done there?
No, but go ahead.
I just had one more
Yeah,
thing.
go for it.
I had one more random news outside of football, because
Yeah.
I know pretty much all this has kind of been football, but I know we have a lot of listeners there that enjoy golf.
Everything. Golf.
PGA Tour, the playoffs have began over this past weekend with the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Hideki Matsuyama ended up winning that. In the 17th hole, he putted a 25-foot birdie putt to take the lead, and then it kind of helped him go into the 18th hole, birdie again. So I think he ended it with a -17. So he won that one. That's always good to look into, especially with the playoffs coming in and like the FedEx Cup, all the standings, player of the year and stuff like that. But I think we know who's going to be the player of the year.
Right.
That's my random news there.
Real quick to finish up football, we mentioned, and now because college football is starting this weekend, we mentioned last episode the college football preseason rankings came out. I don't think we realized at the time, but the Big Ten and SEC have 8 of the top 9 schools on that list. And Ole Miss is number 6 in the country. They're number 4 in the SEC. Is that crazy? Because Georgia, Texas, Bama. Georgia, number 1, obviously, and defending champion Michigan is 9, which is the second lowest preseason ranking by a defending champion.
But they lost a lot of starters last year.
Yeah,
and their head coach.
Georgia is the favorite, and Ohio State co-favorites, plus 325 to win it all. And then Texas actually has had 2 season-ending injuries for key running backs.
Yeah.
2 of their 5 scholarship running backs. So
yeah, it sucks.
MLB for you, Bill. Mike Trout officially out for the year.
Yeah.
Not a surprise.
No,
that guy's a pane of glass.
Literally.
Stephen A. Smith was right. He had surgery to repair the torn meniscus, was rehabbing, tore it again.
Yeah.
So that's
he was actually about to come back too. He was like a couple days from coming back and playing in the MLB, and then retore it.
Real quick, got to mention Aaron Judge became the fastest MLB player to reach 300 career home runs, and he did that in 955 games. Which is almost a home run every 3 games. He's just the 7th player in Yankees history to hit 300 home runs with the Yankees. Now has 43 this year. Let's see.
I remember that for a nice bet.
Yes.
Question now. 43.
44-year-old left-handed pitcher Rich Hill
signed by the Red Sox for like the 8th time in his career.
He is.
The first time he signed with them was in 2010.
4th stint with the Red Sox, 8th time signing. 19-year MLB career with 13 different teams.
That's a horrible league there.
Milwaukee Brewers are having a quietly good year. Christian Yelich is out for the season, though. They're in first place in the NL Central and have one of the best records in the league, but Yelich, who's batting .315 this year, is out for the season, and that was leading the NL. Glasnow back to the IL for the Dodgers.
Mookie's coming.
Mookie came back, hit a home run in his first game. So I just want to mention that Gordon Hayward also announced his retirement.
I thought he retired like 2 weeks ago.
He did, but we never mentioned it because we haven't recorded it in 2 weeks. 14 seasons, 9th overall pick in the 2010 draft. Also, obviously led Butler to that national championship game against Duke. Played for the Celtics, Jazz, Hornets, and Thunder, and he was 34 years old, averaged 15 points a game in his career. I don't know if you saw, the Suns are going to be playing the Spurs next year at the University of Texas, which is Katie's alma mater.
I saw that.
That's good.
So he was the player of the year as his only year at Texas, and he has his number retired, and he's in their Hall of Fame, and he also made a donation to that facility, like $3 million.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, the Notre Dame swim team has been suspended for a full year. They did an investigation, and they found that members of their team, it was like 60% of their team, violated NCAA rules by betting on themselves. They had like a in-house gambling thing where they bet on like their times. They set up a makeshift internal sports book where athletes could wager on times posted by themselves or their teammates at meets. They were not found to bet on any other sports or anything else, but 60% of the 25-member team was involved.
So nothing like actual sports book. They just
did it themselves. Well, they put money on it. They put money on themselves, and they got caught.
Dude, that's like the Celtics fucking playing cards and betting money on the team playing.
So, program is suspended for a full year.
To finish the episode, we have washed up wagers, so here's a real quick recap of last episode. I'm in first place with a 6-3 record after going 3-0 on the last episode. My wins were the Atlanta Braves, who beat the San Francisco Giants 1-0 on Monday, the over of the Boston Red Sox and Texas Rangers game on Tuesday of 10 runs, which ended up 9-4, and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who beat the Milwaukee Brewers 7-2 on Tuesday. Pat is in second place with a 5-4 record after going 1-2 last episode. His win was Ben Shelton, who defeated Riley Opelka at the Cincinnati Open on Tuesday. His losses were the over of 8 runs in the Dodgers Milwaukee Brewers game on Monday that ended 5-2, and the over of 8.5 runs of the Atlanta Braves versus San Francisco Giants game on Tuesday that ended 4-3. Lewis is in third place with a 4-5 record after going 1-2 last episode, and I remember 5 minutes after I left the house, I get a text, Ellie De La Cruz, base hit.
Yeah.
So that hit on Monday's game against the St. Louis Cardinals, where he went 2 for 4, but sadly his other 2 picks did not,
including Luis Ortiz.
Including picking his own guy, including picking himself, Luis Ortiz, for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who lost to the San Diego Padres 3-0 on Tuesday, and FC Cincinnati, who lost to the Philadelphia Union 4-2 on Tuesday as well. Zach is in last place with a 3-6 record after going 2-1 last episode. His wins were the Houston Astros, who beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1 on Tuesday, and the New York Yankees, who defeated the Chicago White Sox after the first 5 innings and the game on Tuesday, and they won 4-3. 4-1, sorry. His loss was the Baltimore Orioles, who lost to the Nationals 9-3 on Tuesday. So here's our picks for this week's slate. I guess start? I will start. Go I took the Philadelphia Phillies money line tomorrow against the Atlanta Braves, -125. I took the Dodgers money line against the Mariners tomorrow at -155. And I took the over of 7.5 runs in the Twins versus Padres game at a -112. $10 for $56.05. It is a +460.
All right. I'll go. I have the over 8.5 total runs for the Orioles-Mets game tomorrow at a -115. I have the Padres money line at a +102. I believe they are playing, I want to say the Twins.
Yeah, they are. I just said I was doing the over in that game.
Oh, okay. Cool. And then, obviously, another lock, Ellie De La Cruz. Give me a hit, please, at a -185.
Love it.
That's a +481, 3-pick parlay, $10 wins you $58.17.
All right, to close it out, my picks are all for the Tuesday MLB slate. First up, I have the San Francisco Giants -1.5 against the Chicago White Sox at home. I have at -115 for that, -1.5 run line. I have the Kansas City Royals money line at home against the Los Angeles Angels at a -205. And I have the over. It's an alternate over. I lowered it a little bit. 6.5 runs over in the Colorado Rockies at Washington Nationals game tomorrow, -287. Those 3 are +275, $10 to win $37.50. Close it out.
Nice. Maybe Pat.
Oh, yeah. Pat's
and then
picks
Pat's
right
picks will be on... No.
Okay, close this out.
All right. Thank you for watching episode 32 of the Wash Up Sports Podcast. We release new episodes, on YouTube and Spotify every Tuesday and Friday. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Our usernames for those can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay washed.